It has been a long, treacherous trip here in the city of Buffalo, but we are finally prepared to pack up and head our butts to Orchard Park. And everybody's talking about, well, was it a conspiracy theory? The disadvantages, this and that. Look it, you could get into all that as much as you want. I'm here to talk about one thing, and that is that the Pittsburgh Steelers still have a major advantage because of what is behind me here in Buffalo. What's going on, everybody? I'm Noah Strackbine. Thank you for jumping on to Steelers to Go, your daily to-go cup of Pittsburgh Steelers news and analysis. Find us on youtube.com/all Steelers talkers. Subscribe anywhere you get your podcast. Before we start, I do want to acknowledge that this lighting is terrible, that I don't know why this Airbnb only has 2 lights in every bedroom, and neither of them are centered, and both of them are orange, but here I am. Here we are. We're making the most of it. We got 3-4 hours before we check out, head to Orchard Park, cover this game, and then attempt to head home for the first time in what feels like forever. Since we have been here, I have watched it snow, get really nice outside, snow again about 5 times. And after yesterday, when the governor said, hey, look, the travel ban has been lifted, the roads should be better, the snow should stop and begin to accumulate 1 to 3 inches instead of 4 to 6 inches. Well, you thought you were good, and then you went outside, and if you've checked my Twitter account in the last 24 hours, you saw that last night it was another snowstorm, and it was crazy. And the city, as you could see the car behind me, still covered in snow. I know this is not Pittsburgh. I know people deal with it differently. I know this is upstate New York, and everything is different. Everything is bolder when it comes to the snow up here. Man, if this was the city of Pittsburgh, we'd be shut down for a year. That's all I have to say. But they're going to play a football game in it. And I'm all about playing a football game in it because I've been looking forward to this snow game for a week now. I have come up here simply to see and experience a playoff game between the Pittsburgh Steelers and the Buffalo Bills in the treacherous weather. That's all I wanted. I didn't care about how long I had to hang out here. I didn't care about getting snowed into my Airbnb. I didn't care about me and Steven eating pizza and wings for 4 days. And I know that sounds great, but it only sounds great until your stomach can't handle pizza and wings anymore and you're looking for a salad. And I mean, this place is so devoted to pizza and wings and hoagies that last night we found the only restaurant in the city of Buffalo that is open. We called, we placed a to-go order, we walked there in 0-degree weather in a snowstorm, which has been a blast. I mean, I don't know if you were a kid and you walked around in the snow, but that is hands down one of the best experiences until you realize that you can't feel your face anymore. But before that, great times. Anyways, ordered a salad. Said, hey, I got to be healthy tonight. I'm not going to make it. Ordered a salad. You want to know what I got when we got back to our Airbnb? I got a buffalo chicken steak and cheese hoagie with steak and cheese fries. That's what they gave me. Not a salad. This place is devoted to a lot of things. The snow, I believe, is one of them. So everybody's talking about, oh, the weather, the disadvantage now for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Vegas shot the over-under straight up, put it to 38.5 after 32.5 almost immediately once this game was announced that it was going to be delayed. And I'm here to say one thing. I have talked to everybody who has been at Orchard Park the last 24 hours. I have been in full contact with anybody and everybody who has been driving around Buffalo, trying to keep an eye on the weather in different parts and the travel and the field and all that. I've been in contact with those shoveling the field over at Orchard Park, and I could tell you straight up, Buffalo is bad. Orchard Park is worse. And it doesn't seem to be any better today or last night. And it doesn't seem like it's going to be any better this afternoon at 4:30 when the Pittsburgh Steelers and the Buffalo Bills kick off. So everybody who's expecting a snow game, who's been all excited for a snow game, and I get it, 4:30 in the afternoon on a Monday is not an ideal kickoff time, but anybody who is excited for a snow game is going to get a snow game. It is going to be bad. The snow is supposed to continue throughout the day and just limit itself to not a foot every other hour, which is a good thing. And yeah, a foot every other hour would have been great. But I can tell you firsthand, being out here, too dangerous to be driving, The wind, the visibility almost is zero. And I know I'm going to get all the comments saying nobody cares, learn how to drive in the snow. I get that. But 70,000 people, you got to believe that a good chunk of them don't know how to drive in the snow. And when there's one accident getting into Orchard Park, nobody's getting into the game. Because if you've ever been to Orchard Park, it is one road in, one road out. It is in a neighborhood. This is not the easiest place to divert traffic, especially in a snowstorm, and say everybody could get in there in a timely manner. It's just the truth. And if you still get a little bit of snow here and there, if the winds aren't as bad as they were, it's still a snow game for the Pittsburgh Steelers. And everybody wants to talk about the disadvantage. Oh, well, Josh Allen could throw the football now. The Steelers had such an advantage because this was going to be a running game. Make it a running game. If you're the Pittsburgh Steelers and that's your identity and that's how you plan to win this game is to run the football with Najee Harris and Jaylen Warren and use your offensive line and win in the trenches, win in the trenches. What changes? What is different between right now and 24 hours ago when it comes to the game plan of the Pittsburgh Steelers? I don't think anything. I think there has been this story built about how the weather delay is hindering the Pittsburgh Steelers and making life more difficult for them. I don't believe that. I believe that they were coming in here to run the football anyways. I believe that they still are coming in here to run the football. And I don't think anything at all is going to change for this team. I still believe that they could win. Maybe I'm less certain that Josh Allen is going to be a non-factor. But I can tell you right now, the wind is still supposed to be 40-mile-per-hour gusts. And that is probably just as fast and just as strong and just as annoying as when it was 50-mile-per-hour gusts the last 2 days, or 60-mile-per-hour gusts, coming down here. It's not going to be easy. This isn't an easy game. This isn't an environment that anybody's going to thrive in. If the Pittsburgh Steelers have the plan to run the football, which I believe that they do, which they have talked about for weeks now, about how that is their identity and that is how they're going to win, and it's going to take short passes where guys could take off. They have the formula to win. Just because they have to deal with Josh Allen now, I mean, what's the excuse next week when they have to deal with Lamar Jackson, or the week after that when they have to deal with Patrick Mahomes, or where do you go from there? CJ Stroud. You get to the Super Bowl, it's Brock Purdy or Jalen Hurts or Jordan Love. What do you do then? Exactly. You have to deal with dominant quarterbacks. This is the playoffs. You have to deal with dominant offenses. This is the playoffs. There are no easy games from here on out. It is about your identity, your script, your game plan winning. The Pittsburgh Steelers have their game plan. And if they believe it's worth winning with, if they believe that it is good enough and put together enough where they could walk out of Buffalo with a win, the weather doesn't determine any of it. They're going to walk in here with the same game plan, whether it was 50 degrees or whether it was 0 degrees. And when it comes to stopping Josh Allen and Stephon Diggs and those guys, their plan of attack was we have to stop Josh Allen and Stephon Diggs and those guys, whether it was snowing or not.